must be the greatest. I told the world, I thought the God ever gave. The best ever.
Welcome to the DL Boxing Podcast. I am your host, Coach D, along with co-host Bad Chaz and neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, where we talk about the sport you and I love, boxing. Welcome, everybody. This is episode 41. Thank you guys for tuning in. Well, guys, we are embarking on year 2 of the DL Boxing Podcast. I'm going to start with you, neighborhood hero Ryan Rios. How do you feel about that, man?
Oh, man, excited, dude. Want to see what this year has in store, because last year, dude, was amazing, dude. I love the ride we were on, man.
It sure was. Bad Chaz, what does that mean to you, brother?
Oh, man, it's very special. Like you said, man, the first year was just great. You know, you always kind of want to know what's in store for the second one.
Yeah, absolutely. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, let our fans know what's on tap on this episode, man.
You know what? We'll talk about the fight recap. We've been on a little break, and there's been some great action, man, and great fights, so we'll talk about those.
Absolutely. Bad Chaz, what else do we have in store for them, man?
Oh, you know what? We're going to talk about the current events in boxing. That's going to consist about some of the fights that are coming up, so you guys are going to want to stay tuned.
Absolutely. But before all that, guys, we have a special guest.
Yes, we do.
Let me introduce him. Coming to us out of the Zoom corner, hailing from Tampa Bay, Florida, now residing in San Antonio, Texas. He is the man with another video on your screen. Ladies and gentlemen, Carlito Palomo.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thanks, bro. That was a good introduction. I've been waiting for that.
Welcome on, man.
Hey, welcome, Carlito. Thank you for making the time out to be on the DL Boxing Podcast. How you doing this evening, man?
Doing really good. Just getting prepared, mentally prepared for, all these events that are coming up here in San Antonio, to boxing, to this rock band that I've been following since, we were kids. And it's been good.
Yeah. Speaking of events, brother, I know you recently attended the Friday Night Fights 2. How was your experience attending that event, and which fighters did you see perform that night?
Yeah, it was a really good. I think it was a really good turnout, and for part 2, and RGBA, really put on for San Antonio once again, and Robert, it was a really good turnout. The boxers did really good. He had 4 RGBA fighters, and Daniel Cortez, main eventing again, and I know that he's been on y'all's podcast a few times, and it was just a great turnout. I really love seeing the city of San Antonio come out and, show support to the boxers.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I seen you got some exclusive interviews with some upcoming fighters. Talk about that, man.
Yeah, the upcoming events and upcoming interviews that I've been having. I did a few at the event, and then I have a few more this coming week. But it's all gearing up for September 15th at the Techport Arena in Boeing Center. It's gonna be a good turnout, and it's gonna be a showbox event. And I look really forward to this rolling with the punches, as I always like to say it.
Absolutely, man. And man, we appreciate you bringing us those interviews, man, with these young fighters. That's what it's all about, catching these fighters upcoming, giving them some spotlight, man. So we appreciate the work that you're doing over there, man. Dude, tell us about your background, man. What led you to follow the sport of boxing and ultimately create your platform of Fight Talk?
Yeah, it was kind of like a spur of the moment. I was, it was during the pandemic. My mind wasn't fully all there, because I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do and what I wanted to accomplish next. And I was like, why don't I do a YouTube channel? All I do is watch YouTube and watch all different types of interviews and, vlogs. So I was like, might as well, I started doing daily vlogs, and out of nowhere, this guy hit me up from Detroit, a pro boxer. His name is Stevenson. And he was like, why don't you want to, he goes, why not make that leap and start doing interviews on YouTube? And I said, why not? And he goes, do you have a computer? I was like, no, all I have is, an iPhone. Oh, we can do just screen record. So I screen recorded, and then I got a laptop, And it was just the longest time I was just really doing FaceTiming. And, now it turned into Zoom. And it's been, since then, it's been nothing but good, came out of this. And boxing is like my second love, but pro wrestling was like my first love. And pro wrestling is what I always wanted to do. But that's a later story, though. And, this is what led me to do what I'm doing today. And, I love every minute of it.
Yeah, and I can relate to that, brother. I mean, I love pro wrestling. Growing up as a kid, I'm probably going to date myself, but I love watching WWF, right? With the Hulkster, Macho Man, Jimmy Fly Super, I forget his name, but
Jimmy Fly Snuka.
Yeah, King Kong Bundy, Big John Studd. But dude, that's awesome, bro. I mean, that's really awesome. Carlito, I'm going to pass it over to Bad Chaz for some further questions.
What's
brother.
up, Carlito? Cheers,
How's it
bro.
going, big dog? I appreciate you wearing my shirt too.
Oh,
that one other.
man.
I think it was on episode 40, 39.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks again, man. It fits nicely. Hey, bro, I just got to say, man, I'm digging everything that I hear this far. You're kind of stepping out on your own territory there and kind of like doing a podcast entrepreneur mindset. I dig it. I kind of come from a similar background, with being a part of this podcast. I'm just kind of curious, this far since you started out up to this point, what have been some of your most memorable and special moments that you've had experiences with this far?
And it's been so many. I can name, starting with Robert Garcia giving me an hour interview when he didn't have to do that. And it was in between fights with Bam and Franco and his other fighters that he has, to Jose Benavidez Sr. One day to the next, I had his phone number, and we were setting up a Zoom call. And it's just, I think those two that I've been holding a lot, and then also seeing my merch, the shirt that I worked hard on designing. Big shout out to my artist. He's the one that, I gave him the mind. I gave him what I wanted to be like on the shirt, and he placed it on it. He did a great job. And seeing that has been what I'm always going to carry with me, for real.
That's awesome, man. I understand where you're coming from. We can relate because we got some special memories that we've got to experience too. So I respect that, man. And thanks for sharing that information with me. My next question was going to be, how has it been this far, with your podcast? You're a solo operation. I mean, you see us, it's the three of us, How has it been with just you? You're a one-man show. So like, what have been some of the ups and downs, some of the pros and some of the cons with that?
I would say the ups and downs has been talking with, first, like when I first started and I started getting really deep into it, I hit over 100 subscribers. Big bro, Newman Boy Promotions in Australia. He sat down with me off camera and just said, "Hey, remember, don't get too deep into boxing. Don't let it, don't let it take over your life. Remember your partner in life, and that's my wife, and she's really been a big inspiration to keep this YouTube channel going." And what was that last question, bro?
Just basically like what have been some of your experiences just kind of operating under a one-man operation with your podcast? Like, I mean,
yeah.
I see, what we put into it. I see what Coach D puts into it and what Neighborhood Hero puts into it. But then I look at you and you're a one-man operation, so I know that comes with some ups and downs, so just kind of wanted to hear, what it actually was like and what some of your trials and tribulations have been.
For real. Like, at the beginning, it started off kind of rocky. And I started getting a lot of love from different fighters. Big shout out to Shane Mosley Jr. He was also one of the ones that first gave me my first in-person interview. He's been a big inspiration to the channel and has kept the channel growing a lot. And just not letting the little things get to me. I didn't have, the best cameras, the best mics. And a lot of people are always, people till this day, even though I almost have 400 subscribers, they're still like telling me that, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. But they're not the ones that have been supporting me since day one. So I just kind of think like, why am I going to listen to them? You know, if they weren't there at the beginning, they weren't there filming it on my phone, you know, off of the FaceTime. It's just crazy. It's crazy how people think.
Yeah. Okay, right on, man. Well, thanks for sharing that with me, Carlito. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back over to my partner here now.
Hey, what's up? Bro. What's up, Carlito? How you doing, man?
Doing great, bro.
Hey, I know we get a chat from time to time, and you're always positive, dude, and I really appreciate that, dude. And we support each other, and that's the best thing we could do is you know, support each other and just, you know, like share each other's stuff. You know what I mean? And I really appreciate that you do that for us. It means a lot to us. And I'm going to go back to special moments, because there was a special moment that I had when I was at a fight. I want to say I was at the Save Mart Center in Fresno, and we had good tickets, and we were ringside, and you know, I seen Pita Garcia, I seen Robert Garcia and Big G, and I'm there, you know, like, you know, shooting the shit with them, giving them a hug and taking pictures. And then I get like a tap on the shoulder. I keep getting taps on the shoulder, and I turn around and there was two people that knew me and wanted to take a picture with me. And there was two people, a guy and a girl from San Francisco. And I just thought about it, and that was like a super special moment, man. And it's just crazy that even though that we're out there looking, you know, to get, you know, guests and you know, like, you know, say hi to them and get to meet them, there's people that want to meet us too. Have you had any special moments, you know, as far as people wanting to reach out to you and you know, take pictures with you?
No pictures yet, but just wanting to be on the videos. You wanted to be on the channel, and I'm kind of glad that I've been able to cross as many paths as I have in this short period of time being on YouTube. But I say this last two events that I was at, I wouldn't even have to be wearing my YouTube merch. I'll just really have to be there, and all they were doing was coming up to me and saying, "Hey, Carlito, how are you doing? Hey, Carlito, what's next? You know, what's the next thing you're working on?" And just hearing that is like, it's special to me, because I'm like, man, I've been doing this, and like y'all said, you know, solo. But it's been a special moment, and I'm really glad that I took that leap, you know, into young fighters, young talent that has not been noticed yet on mainstream. I've given the platform, and it makes me feel really good inside that I'm giving this platform to, you know, the smaller fighter. It's been a exciting moment.
Yeah, exactly. We feel the same way. We love bringing up that young talent, you know, supporting our local youth around here also. But like, as far as goals that you have set out, I know you have some goals. Do you want to talk to us about some of those goals you have in the next year?
Yeah, the goals is for sure is to, my first goal is to mainly get on like a fight card of media, of being accesses to getting to, like, you know, the big mecca of boxing. And that's I always watched, you know, watching Tyson as a kid with my older brother, to be at the MGM Grand Garden, you know, for an event, to also be out in Riverside, you know, to seeing, you know, these gyms that have been, you know, showcased on 24/7 to all types of fighters. I want to be able to cross that barrier, and I want to be able to know that, you know, I did everything the right way, you know, leading up to this moment for myself, and to be able to make those moments happen, you know, by the end of this year would be a blessing, you know, and I owe that. I feel like I owe that to my parents that aren't here anymore with us, you know, God rest their soul. But I feel like I owe that to them and to my dad, you know, to, you know, seeing his son, you know, showcase and do these little interviews, even though I probably won't be like showing my face on the camera, but I'll be interviewing, say, like a Canelo Alvarez or a Benavidez, all types, like even Bam, you know, Bam is, you know, having moments with Bam has been good. That's one of my goals, is to have him on the channel too. And that's one of the fighters in San Antonio that I haven't had on the channel yet.
That's dope, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Those are great aspirations, Carlito, and we wish you all the best, man. Your hard work will pay off, man. Let's go with a little fun question, brother. I want to get Carlito's perfect fighter, brother. So I want you to pick a fighter from current or in the past for these following attributes. All right, man. Who would you pick for speed?
Speed, man. Like today's fighter or all around?
All around, man. You could choose today's fighters, yesteryear's fighters, whoever you think, man. It's your perfect fighter.
Past or present, right?
Past or present, yeah.
Man, I say speed. Always had the quick movements, always had the quick shoulder roll. I would have to say, Money Mayweather or Pretty Boy.
Absolutely, man. Good one, good one. Next attribute, power.
Power? Mike Tyson.
Good. All right. Ring IQ.
And ring IQ. And that is a hard one because I already said Mayweather.
Yeah.
But ring IQ was just... I say ring IQ. I got to go with the Mexican monster, Benavidez.
Benavidez.
Nice, man.
All right, cool, man. Footwork.
He's gotten really better on footwork. He's a all-around perfect fighter. I got to go with my, the SA kid, man. 210 boxing, all around, bro. Bam.
Yeah, Bam.
Yeah, I'd agree with
Nice
you on
one,
that,
man.
bro. Good choice.
All right, and the last attribute, Carlito, the very important one, the chin, the ability to absorb that punch.
Damn. The chin. He could take a really good hit. I'll probably have to say, damn, you almost got me with that one. Damn. The chin? I guess I got to go with, Azteca, Mario Barrios.
Ooh.
He can really take a good hit. He's taken punches from Thurman. He's taken punches from, Tank Davis, all in a matter of a year.
Yeah.
I'll have to say him or Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, Canelo's a good choice too. Good choices, Carlito. That's a great. That's a nice, perfect fighter you just built there, man. I wanted to get your thoughts on today's boxing. Like, who are your the fighters that you see that are next in line to take over the sport, man?
I say the next in line is if they given him his opportunity, and I say the top of the sport could be David Benavidez in a year's time. Bam Rodriguez. Bam is gonna really showcase his talents against Sonny Edwards. I feel in December he's gonna showcase his talent. He's gonna be a unified world champion.
Yeah.
I would say, man, there's so many fighters.
There is, right? We have
so many fighters. I would love to see these fighters that haven't got mainstream yet, be on top of that, be in the top 5. I'm always the underdog, I'm always going for the underdog. And I know there's so many fighters that I probably didn't mention, but I hold all of them know who they are. And I hope, big bro to Shane Mosley Jr., gets his shots and gets a world title shot this year.
Absolutely dope, man. Hey, man, there's been the controversy. I just want to get your thoughts. Oleksandr Usyk, was it low blow or legal?
I think it was a legal shot. I feel like I saw the memes. I saw the memes about the shorts being all the way up his chest. I like Usyk. I like him a lot. I feel like it was a clean shot. He has to give him that. It was a clean shot. Still won the fight. It was a clean shot though.
Okay. Cool, man. All right, brother. Any last words that you want to give to your fans, and everybody that follows boxing, bro?
Man, just keep an eye out, bro. Keep an eye out for the small podcasts like the DL podcast And, we're always doing big things, and we might not be as mainstream as the other ones, but, we're doing our thing, and it's showing, and people are noticing it. And a big shout out to my sponsors too. I want to make sure I, give them the shout out. Excelsior Financial Services, LLC here in San Antonio, Truck Bids of Texas, doing nationwide big things, always shipping out the truck bids everywhere. And, Gomez Law Firm, Gomez Law Fights. I know they do a lot of stuff for the boxers. And big shout out to them. I'm their first YouTuber that they took a shot on. And all I do is praise, everyone that's shown me love. And, Mala's doing the best tequila brand in the game today. I'm not sure if they're going to be if they're not in California yet, they should be. And y'all go check them out. And I appreciate y'all again. I know it's kind of loud here, but I want to thank y'all. I was so super excited to hear back from y'all yesterday. And I couldn't pass up this opportunity. This is all I've been talking about for months now.
Hey, man.
Right on,
well,
Carlito.
thank you so much, Carlito. We greatly appreciate your time, man. Continue success on your road, brother. We're there, for you. And, like we said, support each other. That's what it's all about, man. It's not a competition like the fights. If styles make fights, we all have our own style. We can all live together and support each other, man.
Amen. Amen, bro. I appreciate the time, and thank y'all again. I look forward to being back on the channel, bro.
You got it, brother.
bro. Sure.
All right, my man. You have
Thanks,
a good night.
Carlito. We appreciate your ambition, bro. You're bad.
Yep.
All
touch,
day, bro. And I'm going to get the new shirts out to y'all pretty soon.
Yeah.
Sounds
Likewise, bro.
good. All right, brother. You have a good night. Peace out, man.
You too, brother.
All right, guys. Well, it's time to recap the fights that happened, some time ago. We have to recap the fights that we missed during our break. But before we do that, guys, we want to send a congratulations to our former guest fighters, David Navarro and Daniel Cortez. They recently had victories. Congratulations, guys.
Congrats,
Job well done.
Fellas, congrats.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, let's talk about the big fight that happened back on July 29th. And that is none other than Terence Bud Crawford scoring a 9th round TKO over Errol the True Spence in a fight that was dubbed the next Leonard Hearns or Hagler Hearns. But instead, we got more of like a Foreman Frazier, just a one-sided beatdown. And man, when I think about it, I'm still in awe.
Yeah.
Bad Chaz, man. What'd you think of that?
Like you said, man, I
beatdown,
was just kind of disappointed, man. I was kind of leading up to that point with just pure anticipation of being a pure 50-50 fight, and I was kind of leaning more towards, Errol Spence. I don't know if I was being a little biased there, but that's the direction I was going with it. But man, did Crawford kind of start early and finish well, man. He just kind of went in there and stayed in the southpaw position and kind of just diffused everything that Errol Spence had to offer for him, man, and just kind of really just put a beating down on him and just kind of put a masterclass boxing expertise down on him and just kind of showed him that, hey, he doesn't belong here. And man, I just got to give all credit to Terence Bud Crawford. You know what I mean? Like, if you weren't a believer then, I guess you should be now.
This one makes you a believer.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he just dominated it even from the get-go. I remember texting you guys when they showed them walking in. I'm like, dude, Errol kind of looks weird with his eyes. He dominated that entrance. He dominated the entrance into the ring coming out with Eminem.
That was awesome.
That was badass. He whooped them there. He just totally ran the show. Neighborhood Hero Ryan Rios knocked him down early in the second round. And just from there, I was like, oh, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It felt like a wrap, and what continued on from there was just a one-sided ass whooping.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And man, I was a big Spence fan. He's one of the last fighters that I really followed. Back when he was starting out, and man, just to see that made me sad, bro. But Terence Crawford's performance, man, what'd you think?
You know what? I was going for Terence, dude, and I thought he was going to beat him. But again, I was even
Not like
shocked,
that, right?
Not like that at all, dude.
Yep.
When I seen Spence go down, I was just like, this isn't happening. This is like too soon, And everything that I thought was going to happen didn't happen. You know what I mean? I thought, Spence would have went out there and gave him a firefight, and then Bud would have just landed that perfect clean shot to put him down towards the end of the fight. But man, Terence he's just a beast, bro. He's probably one of the greatest of all times. And I even probably give him a shot against Canelo, man.
Right, and that's the other thing they're talking about. Or he's gone on several podcasts saying, you know what? Actually, I will go up to 168 and I would fight Canelo at 168. And I agree with you, neighborhood hero Ryan Rios. I think skills, pay the bills. Canelo's not a tall fighter. He's a small fighter for the division, and I think it would be a great fight. I mean, what do you think, Betches?
You know what, man? I'm just the more I'm looking at it, I just see that Terence Bud Crawford or some of these other fighters too, but specifically because we're talking about him right now. Yeah. I mean, he has more tools in the bag. He can make adjustments throughout the 12 rounds. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you're orthodox, he can switch it up, go southpaw on you. He can make lateral movement. He's athletic. He has power in both hands.
Yes, he does.
So it's just like, if he's to take a fight with another fighter that we, mentally think that, is it going to be a 50-50 fight? Well, let's look at it real closely, because who can make the most adjustments?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that it comes down to, it's boxing. Anybody can get hit. Anybody can get a puncher's shot. But, Terence Bud Crawford, he's pretty defensively responsible. He's offensively great. And he can make adjustments to make it to where the fight's going to be in his benefit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well said, Bad Chaz. Congratulations to the new undisputed welterweight champion of the world, Terence Bud Crawford. All right, guys, let's turn our attention to another fight that happened in the heavyweight division. We had Anthony Joshua returning for his second fight with trainer Derek James. He took on Robert Helenius, a last-minute replacement. He was supposed to take on Dillian White in a rematch, but Dillian White, he popped dirty in a test, so he was out. In comes Robert Helenius, and Anthony Joshua scores his first knockout in quite some time, and boy, did he show it with elation. Kind of had like a weird celebration there at the end, man. Yeah. But neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, how do you assess his performance that night?
Man, it's still hard to say, man, because Helenius is a decent fighter.
Yeah, he's decent.
But at the same time, like, you think Joshua's just on another level. But, I mean, it's just that fight was just weird for me to watch because it went kind of like both ways. And then Joshua, finally got the stoppage in the 7th round, but he wasn't impressive to me. Even though he got the knockout, he just didn't look impressive. So, I say good luck to him facing Wilder because it might be a quick, night for him.
Yeah, the only thing I agree with you, it wasn't impressive. Helenius bloodied his nose, and he caught a tentative Joshua. It seemed like he's still kind of gun shy a little bit. Mm-hmm. But the only positive I see for Joshua is getting the second win under Derek James is that he's being active. Yeah. Whereas Deontay Wilder, his last fight was ironically against Robert Helenius, but that one only lasted less than 1 round.
Right,
and this was over a year ago. So that's what he's going to have going in against Wilder, is being active and maybe getting a little bit of confidence back with that knockout. What do you think, Betches?
You know what? It's just kind of hard to say. I think we need to come to terms with, Anthony Joshua. He probably has more miles than we want to agree with. You know what I mean? And he's taken some losses that have kind of made it to where his mental fortitude isn't always there and during the fight, depending who his opponent is. Right. But you know what? I think that whenever we watch this fight, he looked a little more patient. He looked like he took a step back, to dodge punches. He made adjustments. So, I mean, it was nice to kind of see him get this victory, get a knockout, get the rebound mentally. If he needs that celebration, let him have that celebration. Yeah. But it's always going to be in question whenever we give him another opponent and he faces him in the ring. Mm-hmm. And especially when you're going to step up to like a Wilder, when you're going to step up to one of those more competitive names. Mm-hmm. So, it's going to be interesting to see who they match him up with for his next fight, to where it's, that risk reward type of situation. But you know what? He's given us a lot in the sport of boxing this far. And I'll watch the fight and stuff, and I wish him the best. And I think that he has the right corner right now.
Yeah, and I think Wilder is next, right? That's what they're saying.
And for Joshua, it's do or die.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and I know I've been reading a lot, like, Wilder's just gonna dismantle him, one punch knock, lay him out flat. But I can't help but it kind of reminds me back in the day when Holyfield had a bad performance against Bobby Chez, a small, stocky heavyweight, actually was a cruiserweight. Mm-hmm. He went tooth and nails with him, and then his next fight was against Mike Tyson. Everybody's saying, what was everybody saying? Oh, Mike Tyson's going to blow him out with one punch. And lo and behold, Holyfield, stops Mike. It just reminds me a little bit of how people are talking about, Joshua facing a Wilder. Oh, he has no chance. Wilder's going to just, annihilate him. But you never know, man. You never know. Styles make fights, and, and a little bit more confidence comes to Joshua and he displays it.
But that's definitely a fight we all want to watch too. So
absolutely.
That makes it interesting.
Yeah, and it just like I said, it harkens back to that memory. So, I give Joshua a chance.
Yeah.
I don't totally count him out. But congratulations, Anthony Joshua, on your victory. All right, guys. let's talk about another fight that we thought was maybe 50-50. But it turned out more like a 80-20 affair.
Yeah,
right. And that was Emanuel Navarrete scoring an easy unanimous decision over Oscar Valdez. He retained his WBO super featherweight championship belt. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, man, Navarrete showed he could box too, right?
Oh man, dude, he's bad, bro. Like he always throws me off because like I never know where his punches are coming from.
Yeah.
You're watching him and you kind of have like an idea of like where to counter, and it's just like out of nowhere, man. He just throws these combinations and just these hooks and Oscar Valdez is my guy, dude. I love Oscar Valdez, and I was rooting for Oscar Valdez, but Navarrete, I thought, put a beating on him, dude, and it wasn't close. And Navarrete, dude, is a force to be reckoned with, dude. And honestly, dude, I would like to see him fight Shakur, but I know that probably won't happen anytime soon. But I give Navarrete a shot.
Yeah, you were impressed. In other words, he impressed you, right? Yeah, he impressed you, man. Yeah, like you said, his shot placements are kind of wild. It's like kind of like an octopus, right? You don't know where it's coming from. Bad Chaz, he really had Valdez, nullified with the jab and keeping that hand up for the left hook that Valdez wanted to just land so badly, but came up short. What was your take on that performance, man?
Oh, you know what, man? Just kind of going back to the beginning of the year, we got to see Navarrete in Arizona.
That's right.
And it was against
who was it? Wilson?
Smith or Wilson?
Liam Wilson.
No. Liam Wilson.
Liam Wilson.
Yeah. And man, that turned out to be a war, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, talking about Navarrete, we never know what to expect with him. Like, I mean, me personally, I don't know what to expect with him. How his camp went, like how serious he took it, but he always rises to the occasion, and he rose to the occasion. We thought it was a 50-50 fight. He went in there and he showed that he can box, that he showed that he prepared for it well. And it was just very impressive to see, how he made these changes to where it complemented how he was going to fight Oscar Valdez, and that was keeping that hand up, that was throwing that jab. And it's almost like Navarrete, if you watch him, man, it's almost like he can throw these shots, but it's like he'll leap on him, like he'll throw the shot, but he'll leap on him and close that gap to where it almost like works in his favor, to where they don't have really a shot at countering him. Yeah, and so he's kind of what do you call it? Like a little awkward. Like how do you train for somebody like that, man?
You do not.
He's unique,
man.
He's unique. He's definitely just getting sweeter and sweeter, man. I'm becoming more and more of a fan of him, and can't wait to see his next fight, and just kind of curious to see what happens with Oscar Valdez from here. What Top Rank has in store for him.
Yeah. Well said, Bad Chaz. And one of the fun facts that Top Rank let known is that Emanuel Navarrete's favorite fighter was Manny Pacquiao. And I was like, man, I put two together, man. They're both awkward, just punches out of nowhere, and yeah, man, that was cool to know, man.
But you know what? With Navarrete, dude, what impresses me the most is that he can fight when he's hurt. With Wilson, man, he was hurt, dude, and he came back strong, and he ended up finishing Wilson. And then with Oscar Valdez, it looked like he had a broken hand or something?
That's right. He injured his hand like in the 7th round, or else I think it would have been worse for Valdez.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, man, he can fight when he's hurt, dude. He's the whole package, man. Even though he's awkward and a little unpredictable.
Yeah,
he's
must see TV.
He has a lot of heart too.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations, Emanuel Navarrete, on your victory. All right, guys, let's move back to the heavyweight division, where unified heavyweight champion Oleksandr Usyk scored a 9th round knockout over Daniel Dubois. This was a fight where there was some controversy. Yeah. In the 5th round, Daniel Dubois, which by the way, he was probably the best. He was in the best shape I've ever seen him for this fight, and of course, he was for all the marbles pretty much. So he came in ready. But in the 5th round, he lands a kind of like a shovel hook to the body, but it catches Usyk, on the trunks, right? And so Usyk goes down, obviously in pain. And so the whole controversy was it really a low blow, which the referee immediately called it low blow and gave him all the time, that he needed to recover, and the, pretty much social media and everybody, that watched the fight, a lot were saying that it was a legal blow. To me, that was a little baffling, but we'll get to that point. But Usyk, given the time, he rises up and just comes back to totally dismantle Daniel Dubois, knocking him down several times, ending it pretty much with a jab. Dropped Daniel Dubois, had Daniel Dubois looking up at the ref, debating if he wants to continue or not. And so, with that said, Usyk scores that knockout. Bad Chaz, what is your assessment of the whole ordeal, man?
Oh, the whole ordeal? It's not the fight that I wanted to see Usyk go up against. But
Good point. Yep.
I wanted to watch him perform. And we know that Usyk has that boxing ability, and he's just, he shows that greatness when he needs to, and he's going to rise to the occasion. And I think that's exactly what we've seen. And Dubois went up against it. And I think that it was just a little overwhelming. And I think that Usyk, he went in there and he jabbed well. He threw the 1-2 well. He moved around the ring well. He kept his head off the line. He made adjustments as he needed. And I think that was just a little overwhelming. And I think that it kind of showed with Dubois over time and during that fight. And I think that, he kind of just he went into almost like a survival mode, and what it seemed like.
And eventually beating the fight out of Dubois, making him stay on his knee. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios. What'd you think of that fight, man? As far as Dubois, I guess choosing to, surrender in a way.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't like that part of the fight. Dubois has always kind of been tricky. He's had good performance, bad performances. So he's always been I thought Usyk was just gonna walk all over him, but he didn't.
I did too. Yeah.
Dubois, put a decent showing, but he could have did more. You know what I mean? And that low blow with Usyk, I could have gone either way with it. Whatever that was the ref's call on that one. If he called a knockdown, which he did, I was okay with it. But if he called, I'm sorry, he didn't call a knockdown. He called it a low blow. Low blow. But if he would have called a knockdown, I would have been okay with it too. But with Daniel Dubois, I felt like he gave up.
Yeah.
I felt like you're fighting for those titles, man, dude. That's something you get up for, dude. That's something that you give it your all, because you never know when you're going to get those shots again, dude. And for him to take those titles from Usyk, man, that would have been life-changing. And he just wasn't ready for it, man. But again, my hat's off to Usyk, dude. He's the better fighter. I want to see him fight Fury, man.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah, right.
I guess that's a good thing that came out of it. Those two names right there are definitely what people want to see.
It was kind of sad that controversy overshadowed, which was pretty much a good performance by Oleksandr Usyk.
Mm-hmm.
He was fighting in Poland in front of a lot of his Ukrainian fans.
Yes.
Going back to that controversial blow, in my opinion, I think the ref did the right call. If a punch lands on the trunk, in my opinion, it's low. You know what I'm saying? Half of it was on the bout line, the other half was on the pant leg. I mean, show me a reel of one-shot body shots that hit trunks, and show me highlights of knockouts that happen like that.
Yeah.
You don't, because it's a low blow. You know what I'm saying? And it also brought back bad memories of one of the ugliest finishes in my opinion boxing was when Andre Ward beat Sergey Kovalev in the rematch. He had hurt Kovalev, and then to finish him off, he just looked like he just digging under as Sergey was bending over, and all those punches, bro, landed on the trunks.
Yeah.
And the referee said, "Hey, I declare you the winner. I give you a TKO." But that was such an ugly victory, man. But it just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
You don't want to win a fight hitting someone on the trunks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But like Carlito said, he thought it was a legal blow. I mean, we all have that opinion, but that is my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know what do you think?
Well, I mean, whenever I was watching the fight and I seen that happen, the low blow, or what people are classifying it as, I couldn't even see it because Usyk's back was towards me on my TV.
In the initial camera.
So I mean, I couldn't be 100% no, that was yay or nay. It was just kind of well, and then the fight continued. We don't even know. There's no clarification. The ref's seen what he's seen, and the refs ultimately get the discretion to make that call in the ring. That's what they're hired for. So I mean, hey, it goes back to some of these fights that are stopped. Can we get an interview from the referee? Maybe that might help cure. A lot
maybe
of
he said in maybe you could say in the locker room.
Speculation.
I told him where's the low blow. And,
exactly.
Yeah, and
I don't think that Usyk was. I don't think that shot that he got hit by was an act that how he felt from getting hit there.
He
I think that he was just the ref called it a low blow and I'm hurt, so I'm going to take my 5 minutes now and I'm going to come back in with more stamina.
Right.
And I think that that worked in his favor.
Absolutely. And but at the end of the day, the fighter that showed true championship mettle was indeed Oleksandr Usyk.
Yep.
And that's what counts, man. Dubois had the opportunity when the fight continued to take advantage, right?
Yeah,
and he didn't. So with that said, guys, congratulations to the unified heavyweight champion, Oleksandr Usyk. All right, guys, let's recap the fight that happened last weekend, and it was the rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith. Just to recap really quick, the first fight, Liam Smith pulls off an just kind of a mild upset, knocking out Chris Eubank in 4 rounds, I believe. But this rematch was totally different, right? Chris Eubank scores a 10th round TKO. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, what impressed you about Eubank's performance?
Just how he came back, man. Just how he switched his camp up, his trainers up. Everything that he did was behind the jab, dude. It was just super impressive. And you know what? If he beat Liam Smith like that, dude, to come back and do a rematch where he got just kind of destroyed in my book, I'm up for any rematch, dude.
I know,
you
right?
know what I mean? It's just like, dang, like if you can go to a new camp, a new trainer, and have a different mindset and people believe in you, dude, anything is possible. And you believe in yourself, anything is possible. And I think that's what Eubank did. He believed in himself. He believed in the people behind him. And he was super confident. And Liam Smith didn't stand a chance, dude. Chris Eubank went and took it from him, dude. And he took it from him early, dude.
Yeah.
That fight wasn't even close, dude. And I think he could have stopped it even earlier, dude. My hat's off to Chris Eubank. And man, dude, I want to see him fight Conor Benn now, dude.
Right. And you're right. That's why we watch the fights, right? Because stuff like this happens, you know. The other guy, like you said, believes in himself. He knows what he did wrong and gets a new trainer. In this instance, Eubank Jr. decided to train with Bomac. Man, what can I say? Bomac transformed him into a more formidable, fundamentally sound fighter, Bad Chaz. Gone were the Roy Jones Jr. kind of impressions that he did in the first fight. He was more defensively responsible behind the jab, and that led to total domination, man. How'd you see that, man?
You know what? Just kind of going back to, they fought the first time, and, he got Eubank, he took the worst of it, and going back to the rematch, like, cool that, he gave him the rematch. He didn't even have to honor the rematch. He could have just picked up and moved on, but he gave Eubank the rematch. And Eubank came in a different version, and a better version. And it was just nice to kind of see, hey, that, you go in and making the adjustments and what you need to do, and you can kind of come back and defeat your opponent that ultimately defeated you the first time.
Right.
And that to me has got to be the greatest victory, like better than a belt. You know what I mean? Like, because it just shows that hey, you know what, man? Sometimes you just got to have the right people around you, you know what I mean, to steer you in the right direction. And it just shows that, he had faith in himself, and he just made a couple adjustments with his team, and he kind of came back and did what he needed to do. And my hat's off to both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Great performance by Chris Eubank Jr. Congratulations on your victory. All right, guys, well, it's time to talk about the current events in boxing. All right, guys, let's start with Errol Spence triggering the rematch clause against Terence Crawford. I got mixed feelings about this, guys. I mean, even, they're talking about the rematch maybe even taking place at the junior middleweight division, which would be 154 pounds. The first fight was at 147-pound welterweight limit. To me, it's not a weight thing. I think it's a skill thing. I think Crawford just too much for Spence. What do you think about the news of him triggering the rematch? Which we were talking about rematches, right? What do you think, man?
You know what? I'll give Errol Spence the benefit of the doubt to take that, trigger that rematch clause, because, like I said with Eubank, dude, anything is possible, man.
Yeah.
Earl Spence, he'll dial
Too bad
in.
Terence Crawford ain't Liam Smith, though, right?
True. You're right, but at the same time, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Of course.
And Crawford should too, because Earl Spence made the last fight, dude, and he made Crawford rich, dude. And Earl Spence deserves it, dude. He earned that rematch, and I hope it's different, dude. And
me too.
like
I hope I'm wrong.
Carlito said, he goes for the underdog. I think I'm gonna go for the underdog, and I would like to see Errol Spence beat Crawford and do a trilogy.
That'd be amazing, man. What are your feelings about Errol Spence triggering that rematch clause, bro?
You know what? I kind of just feel a little salty about it, to be honest with you. I don't know if I want to see it again.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, not saying that I won't watch it if it comes on, but I mean, I think that just Terence Crawford put on a dominating performance.
He did,
I think you got guys at 147 pounds waiting in line that are hungry lions, man. You got Virgil Ortiz, you got
Boots Ennis.
You know what I mean? Knocking on that door. They're hungry, but they need those big fights. And I think it's just I guess it just makes money. I guess it makes sense for Earl, right? So I mean that's how I'd like to see it go down. But I guess they got to do what's best for them on business side.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be obviously big business for both. It may be the Errol Spence cashing out, in this big fight. Of course, he's going to make more than if he were to fight several fights with lesser names. I just think Crawford has his number. I just see another beatdown, man. Unfortunately, but we'll see what happens. Like we said, we never know. That's what like we said. We'll watch and maybe we'll get a surprise. Who knows? But yeah, he has triggered the rematch clause. So we'll see. Even though he's triggered it, I don't know. I'll believe it once there's a date set. He could trigger it and still not go through with it. So we'll see what happens, guys. Awesome, guys. Let's turn our attention to the WBC ordering Shakur Stevenson versus Frank Martin for a vacant WBC belt at 135 pounds. Now, that's a good fight, man.
It is.
Bad Chaz. When you hear those two names, it's like,
I'm
wow.
excited. I mean, everybody, we've got to see Shakur fight, I think this is probably one of the most competitive fights that he's going to experience this far. I think that we love everything that we see from Frank Martin.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that Frank Martin's taken on this fight, you know what I mean, at this point in his career. And I think that this is a really good matchup. I can't really lean either direction just yet. I know that Shakur, he's got a lot of tools in the bag. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But Frank Martin, you know what I mean. At the same time, like he's one of those prospects that's coming up to where it's just like, man, like that guy's gonna be somebody.
Right.
And so you don't want to take your eye off of him, and especially up against a Shakur. So it's gonna be definitely a great fight. I'm glad that it got made.
Me too, man.
Hopefully we can get together and watch it.
That would
because
be dope.
This is one of those fights that it's free. It's not pay-per-view. It doesn't break the bank, and it's going to be competitive.
At least for right now, we hope it's not.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. High caliber boxing skills.
Yeah.
We talk about levels. These guys have the levels. In my opinion, Shakur may be on another level right now than Frank Martin, but that's why we watch the fights, because we don't know, because the styles, they have to, have to meet one another, and then we find out in that ring. Yeah. What's your impressions when you hear about Stevenson perhaps taking on Martin?
Yeah, these are one of these, like, again, dude, this is the greatest year in boxing, dude, and this is one of the fights that I want to watch, dude. And I don't count Martin out for sure, dude. No. But you said Shakur's just like on another level, dude. You've never seen him hurt. He adapts to everything, dude. He's just phenomenal. Yeah. But again, dude, like Martin has that X factor too, dude. Yep. He has a great camp, dude. He has great people around him. And I think, he might rise to the occasion, dude, and he might hurt Shakur. And we'll see what Shakur is made out of, dude. But again, I mean, I'm leaning towards Shakur for sure. But I don't count Martin out. And this is definitely a fight that I want to watch, dude. And I can't wait till this fight is there, because man, I'll be tuned in, dude. I'll be glued to that TV, dude. For
sure. Did they have a scheduled fight date for that yet?
I don't think so.
No, not yet. Other than I guess Top Rank is gonna put on the fight.
So Derek James has his hands full.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
he does, man.
Yeah, that's a lot on his plate. Let's kind of see how it unwinds, right?
Yeah, right. Man, those two. I can't wait to see that high level of boxing skills on display. We hope we get it. Shakur Stevenson versus Frank Martin. All right, guys. Well, that concludes our podcast. We want to thank Carlito Palomo for coming on, man.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, bro, for making the time out to be with us, man. We greatly appreciate your humble views, and we wish you continued success, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you, Carlito.
Absolutely. Neighborhood Hero Ryan Reels, any shout outs?
Yeah, dude, just shout out you guys, man. It's been a while, dude. It's great to get back in the studio and do this. I love it. Again, thanks to all our fans, everybody that's tuning in. Everybody asking me like, hey, when you dropping that next video? Well, here it is, dude. Make sure you guys tune in. Right. So thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Bad Chaz, any shout outs, bro?
You know what? I wanted to give a shout out to Ruben and Coach Nash at Hanford Powell.
Absolutely.
And ultimately wanted to give a shout out to Carlos, who was back in the gym there. And that's just been giving me chills to kind of see you back in the gym, man.
Awesome, man.
Just wanted to send our our respects and just
wishes,
appreciation, man. Right. That's freaking awesome, bro.
Good job, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huge inspiration, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. As always, want to thank cameraman Liam, sound guy Rob. Thank you guys for always helping us out. And with that said, guys, I am Coach D, along with Bad Chaz and neighborhood hero Ryan Rios. And we're out, guys.